Entity-first content strategy, owning topics in vector and knowledge spaces. Search engines and AI assistants today treat content as entities, real things in the world, connected by relationships, not just as lists of keywords. Google's engineers explain that the knowledge graph was built to understand real-world entities and their relationships to one another. Things, not strings. In practice, this means successful content must clearly name the people, places, products, brands, and ideas, entities, in your topic area, and show how they link. AI assistants then use these entity relationships to pick and cite your pages accurately. For example, one study found that pages with many clear entities were far more likely to be chosen as sources for AI-generated summaries. In this article, we explain how entity coverage and relationships affect AI citations. We'll show how to find key entities using public knowledge sources like Wikidata or Google's knowledge panels, how to map them in a topic graph, and how to audit your content for missing pieces. At the end, you'll get a plan for hub-and-spoke content, a checklist to optimize pages around entities, and rules for linking internally. This helps ensure AI search tools see your site as an authoritative network of information. Why entities matter more than keywords. As SEO expert Montana Thomas points out, Google and AI systems try to understand the web as a network of entities, topics, brands, people, places, rather than isolated keywords. In other words, search engines are modeling not just words on a page, but things those words refer to. Yext, a digital knowledge company, similarly explains that modern search no longer looks at words alone. Instead, it understands what your brand actually is and how it connects to other things in the real world. This shift is why keywords alone are no longer enough. You might have a page stuffed with keyword phrases, but if it doesn't clearly anchor those phrases to real-world entities, AI may not see it as a reliable source. The Hoth SEO blog uses a helpful analogy. Keywords are isolated dots, while entities are cohesive networks. In practice, an AI answer engine will score your content higher if it finds many defined entities in their links, rather than just repeated terms. For example, if your site has clear structured facts about organic farming, soil fertility, and sustainable agriculture, the AI is more likely to cite you on related topics than if you just repeat organic farming sentence after sentence. Official sources confirm this. Google's 2012 Knowledge Graph launch aimed to help search move things, not strings. The Knowledge Graph is a massive database of real-world entities, people, places, things, and facts about them. Google's blog noted it contains over 500 million entities and 3.5 billion facts and relationships. When you search, Google tries to find the right entity in its graph and show the connected facts, like name, description, related people, rather than just matching keywords. In short, search engines and AI assistants don't read content like humans do. They extract entity signals to build a structured picture. Key takeaway: search and AI use entity-based understanding. A content strategy should ensure every page centers on clearly identified entities and their relationships. This is how your site becomes part of the knowledge graph and gets cited. Finding key entities in your niche. The first step is to identify the entities, people, brands, concepts, methods, measurements, etc., that define your topic. Good sources for this include public knowledge graphs and search result panels, Wikidata, and Wikipedia. Wikidata is a huge public database of entities. All Wikipedia articles are linked to a Wikidata entity, which lists related info and connections. The Wikidata main page calls itself the free knowledge base with 121,604,485 data entities. You can search Wikidata by topic to see the main entity and its linked attributes, labels like founded by, publications, etc. For example, if you search Wikidata for a technical term in your field, you'll find that entity's page with statements about it. The site is editable, but reliable for basic facts. Using Wikidata or Wikipedia in research helps surface related entities you might otherwise miss. Search knowledge panels. When you search a topic on Google, often a knowledge panel or entity panel appears, usually on the right side. These panels list key facts, dates, founders, related names. Google confirms that panels appear when you search for entities, people, places, organizations, things that are in the knowledge graph. For example, searching a famous scientist shows their birth date, affiliated institutions, awards, etc. By performing sample searches for your niche, e.g. a tool or a person, you can note the panel's listed entities. Those panel entries are hints, things Google considers important to that topic. Topic-related sources, industry glossaries, official datasets, or directories can also reveal entities. For example, a medical site might use Wikidata or UNLS. A tech blog might examine DBpedia. Even the People Also Ask section or related search suggestions can reveal terms. The goal is to gather all concepts that the AI system would consider relevant. As you collect entities, note not only core topics, your main niche terms, but also connected things. Brands, company names or product names in your niche, people, experts or founders, methods, techniques or subtopics, measurements or data, statistics, standards, units, and locations or events, if relevant. These become nodes in your topic graph. Mapping your topic graph. Once you have a list of entities, organize them into a topic graph, also called a semantic or entity graph. In simple terms, this graph is like a map. Each entity is a node, and related entities are linked by edges. You will build hubs, the main nodes, and spokes, the connected nodes. Identify hub entities. These are your primary concepts. For example, if your niche is urban gardening, hubs might include urban gardening, hydroponics, community garden programs, etc. Hubs usually cover broad topics central to your content. Find supporting entities. For each hub, determine related subtopics and attributes. For urban gardening, related entities may include particular gardening methods, e.g. hydroponics, plants, e.g. tomatoes, tools, e.g. raised beds, and organizations or people, e.g. master gardener programs. These are spokes off the hub. Draw relationships. In the graph, connect hubs and spokes. Label relationships in your notes, like is a type of, founded by, used for, etc. For example, urban gardening includes method, hydroponics. Hydroponics requires nutrient solution. A person entity, like Mel Bartholomew, might connect via created, square foot gardening. These edges help you see how content topics should link. Include attributes. Some graph edges are attributes rather than subtopics. For each entity, list key attributes that pages should mention. For a person, attributes could be occupation, notable work. For a product, price or features. Recording these ensures you don't overlook simple facts that AI uses for citations. This topic graph is a planning tool. It shows at a glance what topics you should cover and how. In content strategy terms, a hub and spoke or pillar cluster plan is directly derived from this graph. Hubs become pillar pages and spokes become supporting pages. Auditing content against the entity graph. With your topic graph in hand, audit your existing content to find gaps, missing hubs or spokes, and weak points. This means checking entity presence. Does each hub and spoke in your map have a corresponding page or section? If community gardens is a key node, but you have no page dedicated to it, that's a gap. Even if you mention it, you may need a full page or a deep section. Relationship links. On each page, are related entities linked or discussed? For instance, on your main urban gardening hub page, do you mention and link to hydroponics and other spokes? AI systems expect a web of links reflecting your graph. Attributes and facts. Check if you have included the basic attributes, dates, names, measurements for each entity. For example, if Mel Bartholomew is listed, do you have the founding date of his organization or the year he published something? Missing small facts can weaken entity signals. Coverage balance. Some entities may be overrepresented, e.g. mentioned many times, while others are sparse. Too much focus on narrow terms can fragment authority. Balance means giving each core entity adequate presence. Perform this audit by going through your graph list and marking what content exists. Many SEO tools or spreadsheets can help track topics to pages. The goal is to identify missing hubs, major topics with no pillar page, and missing edges, key relationships or entities not addressed. Once identified, these become new content tasks. Building a hub and spoke content plan. An entity hub and spoke plan means assigning each major entity to a hub page, with related entities as spoke pages linked to it. Here's how to apply it. Create or refine hub pages. These are the authoritative pages for each primary entity. For example, if electric vehicles is a hub, its page should fully define what electric vehicles are, why they matter, how they work. This page should mention most related entities, brands, batteries, charging. Develop spoke pages. Each spoke is a detailing of a specific related entity. Under electric vehicles, spokes could include Tesla Model 3, EV charging standards, or electric car batteries. Each spoke focuses on one aspect, but links back to the hub and possibly to one another. Link logically. The hub page should link to each spoke, and spokes should link to the hub and to each other where relevant. Use anchor text that matches the entity name. For instance, in the electric vehicles hub page, link to the Tesla page with text like Tesla Model 3 is one popular electric vehicle model. This tells Google that Tesla Model 3 is an entity under EVs. Schedule content creation. Use your audit findings to prioritize new hubs/spokes. Cover the most important missing entities first. Also plan updates for existing pages to include needed entity details. A clear map chart of this plan, even a simple diagram, ensures everyone on a team understands which page is about which entity and how they fit. Structure your site wireframe so that entity hubs sit at a logical place. For example, parent pages in a category, and spokes are subpages or linked articles. This structural clarity helps crawlers and AI follow your intended structure. On-page entity optimization checklist. Each page, especially hub pages, should be entity optimized so AI can extract and cite them. Here's a checklist to make sure you hit the mark. Clear title and headings. Use the full entity name in your page's title, H1, and first paragraph. For example, electric vehicles, benefits, and technology. Begin content with a simple definition or description of the entity, so AI knows what it is. Define the entity up front. Early in the page, state plainly what the entity is and why it matters. Example, electric vehicles, EVs, are cars powered by electric motors instead of gasoline. This mimics how knowledge panels or the first line of Wikipedia does it. Include attributes and facts. Use bullet lists or an info box to list key attributes. Founder, date, measurements. For a person, birth date, role. For a product, release date, price. For an event, date, location. Structured facts help AI recognize the entity. Google noted that facts like who wrote which book or a person's relationships matter. Use structured data schema, org markup, to explicitly label the entity type. For example, use item list or FAQ page markup as appropriate, but also types like organization, person, product in JSON LD to define the main subject. Yext stresses that schema markup explicitly tells engines what type of entity each page represents and what its attributes are. Even if you're not a code person, consider a simple person or organization schema on about pages. Write with clarity, avoid vague phrasing. Say CEO Alice Johnson founded TechCo in 2010, rather than Alice founded the company in 2010. This clarity helps AI extract relationships. The Hendrix AI Guide recommends stating things unambiguously. For example, Brandon Hendrix founded Hendrix.ai, instead of just Brandon started the company. The more explicit your sentences, the more reliably an AI can map them in its graph. Link to sources. Include authoritative external links like Wikipedia or news for data. Not only does this add trust, but it also aligns your entity usage with recognized sources. For instance, linking an entity name to its Wikipedia page or official site when it makes sense gives the AI more confidence. Use synonyms and related terms. Entities can be known by different names, e.g., abbreviation, full name. You might say E. coli, Escherichia coli. Use the full name at least once and any common nickname. Also mention category relationships. Electric vehicles belong to the broader class of clean energy vehicles. These variations help cover all ways the AI might look up the concept. Add context with examples. If the entity is abstract or technical, give concrete examples. For example, examples of urban gardening include community gardens and rooftop farms. AI assistants often look for such definitions and citations. Checking all of the above for each hub page is an important editorial step. Remember, you want the AI to have no doubt what thing the page is about and its key facts. Internal linking rules for entities. Effective internal linking shows how entities relate on your own site. Here are best practices. Link entity name to its page. Whenever you mention a key entity other than the current page's topic, link it to that entity's hub page. Use the actual name, anchor text of the entity. For example, in an article about organic soil, link composting directly to your composting page when first mentioned. This reinforces to Google that composting is its own entity page. Build hierarchical links. Structure links to reflect the content hierarchy. Link broad categories to subtopics and vice versa. For instance, your electric vehicles page, parent, should link to specific models or brands, children, and each model page should link back to electric vehicles. This parent-child linking forms a tree like a knowledge graph in your site. Yext advises linking location pages to service pages to people pages, etc., to build a web of signals. In practical terms, if you have different entity types, example, a person and a company they founded, make sure each page links appropriately. A CEO bio page should link to the company page and vice versa. Limit unnecessary links. Don't overdo it by linking every mention. Only link the first or most important mention of an entity on the page. Too many links, especially in running text, can confuse the model. A good rule is 2 to 5 internal links per page that directly support the topic. Always link to pages where the reader would logically want more detail. Use consistent anchor text. If you have a page on TensorFlow, always use TensorFlow, or exact brand spelling as link text, not variation like that tool or it. This consistency avoids confusing the model about different names. Update old content. If your entity mapping creates a new hub page, go back and add links to it from old pages that mention it. Even historical content can send fresh signals if you enhance internal links. Good internal linking helps AI navigate your content graph, just as human editors do. By following a clear linking plan that mirrors your entity graph, you strengthen your topical authority. Conclusion: entity-first content strategy is about making your site a clear part of the knowledge graph. When you own the right entities and show their relationships, AI assistants will learn to cite you. In summary, treat entities, people, brands, concepts as the main topics, not just keywords. Use public knowledge sources, Wikidata, Google panels, to find all related entities in your niche. Draw a topic graph linking each entity hub with relevant spokes, attributes, people, methods. Audit your site against this graph, filling gaps where entities or connections are missing. Build a hub and spoke plan. Each hub page defines one big entity, with supporting pages for its connections. On each page, clearly name and define the entity, include key facts, with structured data if possible, and link out to related entities. Follow consistent internal linking so that entity pages reinforce each other in the eyes of AI. By following these steps, you signal to search engines and AI that your brand is the authority on each entity. As Yex notes, the question becomes not what keywords do I rank for, but does Google understand what I am and how I connect to the things my audience cares about? Doing this well will improve your visibility, not just in normal search, but in the growing world of AI-powered answers, ensuring your content gets the citations it deserves for years to come. All links to sources are available in the text version of this article. You can find the full article at autopod.co.